I Found Puppets Living in My Apartment Walls is a 2023 horror novella by Ben Farthing. I think this is one of those ones that I found during the endless rabbit hole of readers also recommend that I tend to fall down on Goodreads. As I don't partake of the devil's algorithm, you could say that this is my version of endless scrolling through short-form content. I apologize for nothing, it's far more wholesome than doom scrolling, and my mental health remains better than a TikTok addict's, I'll tell you what. Naturally, the book's title and cover caught my attention immediately. It sure is a striking combination. I confess to having some reservations when I actually got the book and began to suspect that the cover art was AI generated. The bag in the bottom right-hand corner has some gibberish written on it that seems a bit sus. It's the kind of thing you tend to see in the tiny details of AI generated pictures. But overwhelmingly, both the cover and the title are extremely effective marketing tools. How am I, a simple bitch living in the waning days of Mascot horror, supposed to pass up on a book based on not Sesame Street puppets living in someone's walls? The answer is that I didn't. I didn't pass up on it. The synopsis is this. Johnny and Brittany, cousins, come to stay in their puppeteer grandfather's apartment. He used to work on Our City Street, which is not Sesame Street, working half of a puppet named Swoomy. The show ran for decades, eventually coming to an end after a mysterious incident that's since been buried. The apartment itself is built into the old studio where the show was filmed. Grandpa disappeared a year ago and has recently been declared dead, so the cousins are here to clean out his old apartment. On the first night, however, Johnny wakes up to find Swoomy the puppet standing over his bed before disappearing into the wall. So, first of all, this is a novella, and the story the author tells ends up fitting perfectly for this format. I've said before that sometimes people take what should be a bigger story and force it into a novella form, and sometimes people take short stories and stretch them out into novels, and the story suffers as a result. This novella is just right. We get enough information to understand what's going on, but not so much that it eradicates any mystery. It also did a great job at allowing the author to maintain the tension and horror over the course of the book. The horror was good and solid. Can't go too deep into it without spoiling it, but the puppets are genuinely frightening, especially Swoomy, and there are definitely some cosmic horror and or folk horror bits in here. It was excellent. I really liked it. Something else I wanted to note is the fact that there's a puppet named Reddo among the crew of cursed puppets, and the way he's described makes it so clear that he's an Elmo XP. Todd the Rage started as a side character, is now basically the face of the show. You see the vibe here. And Johnny does not like Reddo, which almost makes me curious if the author might have been slipping his own latent Elmo hatred into his book for shits and giggles. I feel no particular way about Elmo, but it was extremely funny to read. On that note, I should clarify that the book was not a comedy. There were a few funny moments, and obviously, the vibe of the book, in a way, is a little bit absurd, but despite the premise, this is a fairly serious horror book. It was not black comedy, although you might find a few things worthy of a chuckle as you read. So yeah, I definitely recommend this one, especially to anyone who's into mascot horror like Five Nights at Freddy's or Poppy Playtime. Or Garten of Banban. I know some actual fans of this series who aren't literal fetuses must exist, statistically speaking. But if you enjoy these things, you'll enjoy I Found Puppets Living in My Apartment Walls.